Hello, everyone. We are live, and today is Thursday. Today is January 6th, the very first interview in 2022, and I have a special guest for you this week. So, before we get started, just a few housekeeping tips. If you are joining us live, in the comments down below, just put hashtag live, or if you're actually seeing the replay, hashtag replay and do tell us where you're coming from. As you know, I am coming from Mexico, beautiful Mexico, sunny Mexico, and my guest is from the USA. And we will ask my guest where in the USA. Also, if you wish to comment on anything that's happening today, make sure that you click on StreamYard, the banner above, and allow StreamYard to use your name if you want to comment, okay? And if you just want to react, of course, send us some hearts. We love hearts. Of course, the thumb is okay, but we love the hearts. So fill us with love. So the next thing that I usually do is tell you what my guest and I have in common. Number one, we are the same generation. We're both educators for more than 25 plus years. My guest was a teacher in kindergarten, from kindergarten through the 8th grade in public schools. And of course, I was in the high school and in the public and the private sector. And we're both language teachers. Interesting. My guest was teaching English as a second language, and I was teaching Spanish and French as a second language. So we have that in common. The other thing we have in common is we're both into fitness and keeping in shape. And we're also both entrepreneurs and we have online businesses. So we're excited about life. We met online about 2 years ago on a retired Facebook group. And then we found out that we are both the members of the Self-Education Revolution group. We are into self-education is the new norm. So we both joined Dean and Tony's Progress Next program, which they actually started in 2019 as the KBB program. If you remember, some of you, the KBB program was the Knowledge Business Blueprint, and it later evolved into what they called Progress Next. And it consisted of a digital course plus 8 weeks of implementation and a ticket to the worldwide 3-day event, where this past year they almost broke the record of reaching 1 million people. This was the largest ever event online. So without further ado, let's meet our guest, Victoria McRay. Hi, Victoria.
Hey, Lucy.
How are you doing?
Listen, I'm honored. I just realized I'm your first guest of the new year.
You are.
That's a wonderful honor. Thank you so much for putting me in that spot.
You're very welcome. Do tell us, you do live in the U.S. Where in the U.S. are you coming in from?
I live in the Southeast in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia.
So our weather, you never know what you're going to get. Anyone who's ever traveled through Atlanta knows you never know what you're going to get. You could have snow one day. Well, we have ice. We don't really get snow. And then you could have 80 degrees the next. It's really crazy.
Wow. So were you born there and educated there?
Yes, this is where I'm from. Yes.
Okay. Wonderful. So, a teacher, why did you get into teaching?
Oh my gosh, Lucy. First off, you know that there's a thing people who aren't teachers don't know. There's an adage. It says, "Are teachers born or are teachers made?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of the born ones, without a doubt. Right? I loved teaching. I always have loved teaching, and then I had a great love for children. So for me, like you had said, I did education K through 8 and kindergarten through 8th grade because I taught children how to speak English. So in reality, when you said you were a language instructor too, it made me laugh because I'm
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, but your job was a lot harder than mine. Because for
Well, I
those
don't
who
know.
don't know, ESOL, what I
Mm-hmm.
taught is called ESOL, English speakers of second languages.
Right.
What's so funny is I only had to speak English. because people used to ask me often, well, how many languages do you speak? And it's like, are you kidding me? I'd have to speak like 5,000, you know?
Right. Right, exactly, because they were coming from all over the globe, weren't they?
Yes, yes,
Oh
yes.
my God. It's a good thing that the public school did provide this education as a second language. You were so valuable, all of you doing this. It was unbelievable.
And it
So,
was great fun.
so tell me a little bit about your history from teacher to coach. You
Well, you
know,
know, isn't it kind of cool that teachers are sort of coaches too? You know,
absolutely.
and that's what I, you know, so for me, you know, I was an educator for all those years, and then I retired a couple of years ago. And then what ended up happening was I was like, well, now I traveled. I mean, that's why really one reason I retired a little bit young, so I really wanted to travel.
Hmm.
And when I started traveling, then y'all, you know what happened next? COVID shows up, right?
Right, right.
And I was luckily for me, just like the month before all the lockdowns and no travel, I was in Iceland in February that year. And I chose Iceland in February on purpose because I wanted to see it in the winter, right?
Right,
So I
right.
had a couple of friends go and we had a blast. But anyway, then I come back from all that. Now it's obvious I'm not going to be traveling a whole lot right now, except around the country and, you know, where I can drive to or, you know, fly local. Anyway, and then I was like, okay, you know, I'm a teacher. I love to teach. I love fitness. And then you and I found each other in a retirement group.
Right.
And then I saw you were friends with Tony. You know, like you had something about Tony Robbins
Right.
somewhere in your house or whatever. And I was like, hey, what's that? And you told me. And that's how we ended up getting together with Project Next. So, Lucy, it was actually such a cool progression for me because I went from, you know, just like, well, I thought I was going to travel. And actually, I thought I would teach English in foreign country, you know, like travel and teach too.
Right.
But that did not happen. So then I thought, oh, here's this great workshop. So I started doing that and then I just put it together and I have been having the most fun. It's a challenge, but it's a fun time.
Absolutely. And we met, we meet the nicest people online. Really, I keep repeating that, but it's so true. I mean, you can attest to that. And and here we are. We're friends, and not only that, we work together. How cool is that? So,
It's so
so
true.
you also had a side hustle. I call it a side hustle because it's something that you've been doing not just for yourself, but for other people, which is teaching fitness in gyms, right? Now, why? I've gone to gyms and it's hard to work out. I certainly would not want to be teaching anybody how to do anything in the gym because it's so hard to do. So, how did that happen?
That I love what you just said because what you said touches a little bit on what I teach, which is, you know, Lucy, everybody's got their thing that fits them. They just
Right.
don't know it. So some people would say, oh no, no, nothing to do. People will say, please don't make me. Literally, people have said that to me. It
Yeah.
cracks me up.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're sitting here in front of me saying, please don't make me when you know this is what we're getting ready to go to do. You know? So it's
Right.
really cute. But yeah, so basically, I love teaching in the gym, and so I was in the gym all the time anyway, right? That was just my thing.
Mhm.
Besides, I do outdoor sports too, but I love, you know, I love all that stuff going on in the gym and the excitement and the
Right.
growth. And so I thought I want to learn to teach. What I basically do is I challenge myself every year with something different physically. And so I thought, well, this year you might as well learn to teach something that you're interested in. So I started out teaching Pilates and I took Pilates classes and learned how to do that. And then I took, you know, I was taking courses to learn how to do all this and how to be an instructor. And then in the end, I ended up teaching, I think, like Pilates. I taught group fitness, which meant like weights and different things of that nature. And then I did spin classes
Wow.
and no, and Zumba. Remember when Zumba was really
Zumba. Right.
popular?
Right.
I'd
So
like, yeah,
you just kept keeping up with the times. First it was Zumba. I think it was Zumba first, and then it was Pilates. It became, and then it was spin. I remember doing spin. I didn't like that one at all. Everybody wants to try everything because it's new, and so, but not you. You didn't just try it. You took the course, to teach, right?
I
I mean,
really wanted to do it.
you
Yes,
just
yes.
really wanted to teach all the time, which was great. So,
That was it.
yeah,
I enjoy teaching.
yeah, exactly. It's obvious. It's you have, and you have so much to offer to so many people. And Elizabeth is has joined us here, and Sally's saying, "I love this gorgeous lady."
Oh,
Wonderful. And Elizabeth saying, by learning all these wonderful exercises, you also learn to teach. What an inspiration to all. And that's true, you know. So the teacher, you know, learns first, and then you learn to teach. That's the best way to learn. The best way to learn is to teach.
well,
Is
and
to,
you know what? The other thing is, you know this because you were an educator.
Mhm.
Teachers, they don't hoard knowledge, they share it,
They share
right?
it.
So when
Absolutely.
we learn something and we get good at something, and then we see someone who maybe could benefit from what we know, we share it. I mean, it's
Right.
like exactly how you and I met. You know,
Right.
you and I met on a website, and we started chatting in a Facebook group, I think it was.
Hmm.
And then, you know, we kind of learned from each other. Now
Exactly.
you're one of my mentors that I learned from, and you know, it just evolves like
Yeah.
that. But it's just that whole thing of teaching is just such a natural aspect.
Yeah, it's so funny about people, and I want to know what you think about this. When I think of being in shape, for me, I love individual sports. I mean, they're like tennis. I do have to play with other people, but that's the kind of stuff that I like to do to keep me in shape. I do not like to go to the gym. I used to run, and I ran all by myself. That's when I did my best thinking, and even downhill skiing. I would just want to downhill ski all by myself. I didn't want to keep up with anybody, and playing tennis and pickleball and all that. So, there's just so many different people who want to keep in shape. But I did hear you say that you also do outside sports. So do you teach those too?
No, I don't teach out. Well, no, I give advice on it, you know,
Yeah.
because I want people to be safe. So if
Mm-hmm.
somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to do this," I give them my, you know, my 2 cents worth on a couple of things to do, whatever it is they want to do. If I'm familiar with it, you know, some things I'm like,
Right.
"Wow, what is that?" And then I
Then you
want to
want
go,
to learn, I bet.
yeah, then I want exactly, then I want to learn what the heck that means.
That's great.
Um, but yeah, but what you just said really touches on a lot of what it is I seek to share with women, particularly women who have never um, done any kind of physical activity at all. And my group is for women 50 and over, right? And
Right.
it's for women of all types of ability, but basically people who all of us seek to age well.
Absolutely.
And so, what you said is exactly right. It's like you really, it was cute. Everything you said is perfect. It's like sometimes you want to work out alone. So I tell people that's what I'll share. In the beginning, it might be fun to have a walking partner or someone to play a sport with that you haven't played since high school or
Right.
any little thing like that, right? But then sometimes, you know, you want people with you, and sometimes you don't. And then some people, Lucy, want people with them all the like
All the
group
time.
fitness. When I did group fitness, those ladies, they were serious. They were friends. They show up, and if somebody's not there, somebody's either texting them or calling them and saying,
Right.
"What's going on?" You know,
Exactly.
because they were accountable to each other. But like you are motivated enough and interested enough in some other sports of your own, like skiing, that you were happy to do that by yourself. You know, just, oh, no, I don't want to have to wait for people, which is really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So that's another little hint is when you sort of know what you want to do that day, and then you're looking at, you know, 5 people who are still trying to find where their shoes are. you're,
Exactly.
you're like,
Exactly. Oh, my boots are too tight. Or I can wait. I gotta stop. I gotta rest. And no, no, no,
and you
no,
get
no.
so tired of, you know, so, but that's perfect what you said because it really hits on that. So people who don't know this because they've never been into any kind of physical activity, it's like there's personalities in the
Right.
activities that you choose. And if you're someone who really is an introvert, then maybe your thing is walking and listening to a headset with, you know, music or a book on tape or a podcast, you know, that may make you so happy, but you've never noticed it because you're thinking, I'm not going to the gym and do those classes. And in
Right.
reality, you
Exactly.
don't have to.
Exactly. So there's something for everybody. And I have a gym in my house, and I I don't even use it. I'm thinking now that I think that it would make a good office. So I'm thinking that maybe I'll turn it into an office instead. It's sitting there collecting. You know how you get a room that collects junk. That's but it's on top of the yeah on top of the whatever you call it the thing that you walked on.
The
You know,
treadmill.
the treadmill.
You got your treadmill with, yeah.
Got my treadmill and I have the workbench and so it's just sitting there doing nothing. So
And
yeah,
that brings up another point for me too, is I like to let women know, especially as they just start out, you don't need anything. All you
yeah,
need is your feet. Okay. You need some feet and some clothes, maybe some water. And then, you can just start there because, you're exactly what you said. People will buy the latest thing,
exactly.
Peloton right now is the big, which I love Peloton, by the way. But, if you're not going to use it, my gosh, it's just because you have this great intention of
I
getting
know.
fit, but then the machine sits in the corner after a month.
I know it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but I'm the first to say, find what you love and do it. So if the gym works for you, do that. If walking works for you, do that, and just find what you love. So
Absolutely.
so tell me, why did you join the Progress Next program? I mean, what called you to that program, the Tony and Dean's program that they launched
You
in
know,
2021?
it was such a great offer, right? And a great program. And like I said, I evolved from thinking I was going to travel due to the COVID
Right.
restrictions that then I started writing this workshop on fitness, for women. And then the offer showed up, and that's again, that goes right back to you because I would have
Right.
never even known about it if I hadn't seen it with you after we had met.
Hmm.
And so I thought, oh, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, you take it and you're like, I'm not going to apply it. But it was so amazing. And it is so much fun to sort of have an outline
Right. A
of how,
blueprint.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, the blueprint on,
Yeah.
okay, here's how you do this. And they offer such great training. And then, if I may say, I don't know if you want me to go there or not, but you guys ended up with a coaching program that
Right.
I joined, that several of the other people joined. I mean, we had quite a group join that. And so at the same time, we were doing, two programs at once, but they were like shadowing each other.
They
So
were
you were able,
shadowing. Yeah.
yeah. So
It
you
was
were able
called
to,
the Launch Lab. That's what we started, and basically, it was based on what Tony was and Dean were doing, except on a smaller scale. Because we knew, we the team members had been through KBB. We knew how difficult it was to get through that program, and yes, they did make that program much better with the Progress Next. But you know what? You it seems simple, but it's not easy to do unless you have somebody holding your hand. And that's what we had in mind when we, prepared and designed the launch lab. And so, tell me, what was the greatest benefit that you got from the launch lab? You know,
okay,
because
I'm
it,
going to
it
go
was
backwards just a second, and I'm going to say the other thing about the Launch Lab was it was an accountability group. If
absolutely
nothing else, if for no other reason, it was worth it just to have people that you were accountable to, right? Like Tony and Dean's thing is huge. Nobody's going to send you a note or text you or message you and say, "Hey, you okay? Where are you? Like, come on, let's do this thing."
right.
And you guys were like that. And we were accountable to each other because the group was small enough that it gave you, that sense of responsibility towards the other people in the group. Because we couldn't
Right.
just all, go, well, I'm not going to do that today. I mean, we were into it. We were having fun. I think for me, Lucy, I guess that's it. I guess that hits the nail on the head. Now I have a team of people, including you guys, including the coaches, especially
Yeah.
the coaches, because you guys teach us stuff every week. It's just lovely. But now I have a team that I'm accountable to in a way and for in a way, and we try to help each other. take these same trainings, and so then we can get together, like when we're doing our launch lab, and
Hmm.
send each other notes and say, hey, did you try that? Or did you? And then people say, oh, I don't know how to do this. And we have all helped each other to grow. And that has been, Lucy, that is worth, besides the teaching you guys give us, that part is very important, to be in a smaller group with sort of the leaders. You
Yeah.
guys are like the parents and we're like the kids.
Hardly young, but hardly old enough. But you bring up a good point. The great thing about it being small is that we could touch upon the specific needs of each one of you, and then redesign, the program as we went along. So that's what made the program so
Well,
effective.
also, if we had a question, like you said, you see the needs, and then somebody would be, you're not too afraid to ask a question. I'll say that it's small enough that I could send a question to one of you and be like, oh God, they're going to think I'm crazy. And then they're like, one of you would be like, good question. And then you put it in the group, and then other people go, oh, thank goodness. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, that's exactly right. And then you guys would just shore it up and tell us, okay, let's do a training on this, because apparently this is tougher for you guys than we need it to be.
And of course, it's good to have me in the group, because if there's something I can't understand technically, and they use that a lot. No, it's a great thing, because I think if I have a question about it because of my generation gap, then certainly other people have, and so I'm not afraid to say, hey, you know what, I need some help. Somebody else needs the help too. So how did you? Okay, so you decided at one point to be a coach. It sounds like you decided to be a coach when COVID came along. Is that
Right,
correct?
yeah. Like I said, I thought I would travel, and I really thought I would probably teach English abroad,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, I
just
see.
be in a certain country for a block of time, and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of travel around the world. And then it turns out that that was not going to happen. And just being an educator, and like I said, teachers we don't hoard knowledge. We
Right.
share it for sure. And knowing, well, you know what? That reminds me. I'll tell you how it started. I saw a lot of women. I joined a lot of women's groups
Mm-hmm.
online because, we were all kind of stuck at home there in the beginning.
Right.
And I would see a lot of women talk about, oh, I feel horrible. I'm 52 and my back hurts. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Right.
And it'd be like, oh, I'm going to be 56 next week. And, I can't even walk half a mile. And they really were down on themselves. So many of these women were really feeling bad. And I thought, oh my gosh, no, this does not. And I even saw a couple of people say, well, I guess once you hit, 45, it's all downhill. And you're like, what?
No way. No way.
That's
No
what
way.
so
Yeah.
that's what got me going.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to have to start. So I just started sharing in the groups, is really how it started, where I would say, hey, do you know you can do this or try that? Or if they said my back hurts, I would, give some, offer like, hey, this guy does a great training on how to stretch your back. Maybe that would help, blah, blah, blah. And then in time, I just thought, okay, I'm going to have to reach out there and find more women who need help and try to help them.
So this is how you came to your dot, and that's what Dean calls it, but your niche, your
Yes,
avatar, your ideal client. women
absolutely.
women who had been retired, who all of a sudden were like, oh my god, all the attention would go to the body, and it's almost like they had nothing else to think about. And so, if
But
you're
they
going to
weren't
think
even,
about your body, then let's do something about your body.
yeah, but they weren't even retired. They were just 50.
Were they?
And then, like I said, some of them were even younger that I would see. Not a handful, maybe, like I said, just a handful, but not. But, when you see that with women, you're like, look at you. Come on, Lucy. I mean, you're
Yeah.
alive, you play tennis, you're out there doing your thing.
Yeah.
You're totally into, having energy. And
Absolutely.
so when I saw that, then I just thought, oh, I really want to let these women know it's not the end, baby. It's the beginning.
It's the beginning, right?
Because when we retire, this is what I love. When we retire, good Lord willing, we have more time and more financial security than we've had in our lives, right? Because we have built a lifetime to get to this moment. And it's like, good gosh, please do not just think this moment's over. Let me turn on the remote control and start watching TV for 30 years. That's a long time.
That's a long time to be watching Netflix for sure. That's a long time. So, these were groups that you belonged to, where you would find these women just kind of, and so you just engaged with them, and that's how you. And so, what made you then decide to have your own Facebook group? I mean, and then niche. I mean, how did you decide on a Facebook group and what it would look like?
Um, so my group is for women 50 and over. Now, I
Okay.
do have a couple of 30s and a couple of 40s, maybe three or four 40s in there. They just said, hey, that looks, can I join? I'm like, of course, of course,
Mm-hmm.
of course. But so here's really the key for me is
Mm-hmm.
I come from the culture of women. I had four sisters growing up and no brothers.
Okay.
I ended up going to college to be an educator. Now, there were men at my college, but not in the education field, okay?
Mhm.
There
Right.
maybe been one guy the whole time I was in college, right?
Mostly women. Yeah.
And then I ended up teaching school, which, what do you get? The culture of women. You might have had, two guys in the whole building.
Exactly.
And so just from the way I was raised, I've always plus I had a women's group at one point. I started a women's group and loved that. I had a great time. It was live. We would meet and get together and do things, and I loved that. And so I guess it just kind of was a natural progression for me, and
Okay.
that's how I came up with my avatar, or my, the people that I wanted to serve. Was it's like, I don't have that much to say to a 20-year-old. She
Right.
does not want to hear me. Men, they're a whole different ball game for me, right? I do have a partner who's lovely, and I was lucky because he had three sisters, so so
Yeah.
he knows, how women are. And so that just kind of seemed like the natural fit for me to serve women 50 and over. And I chose 50 because, Lucy, that is the age when, if we don't take control,
Hmm.
starting at 50, you will notice, right? Things will start to happen to your body. Nothing bad. I mean, nothing horrible, but you
Right.
go through menopause. You notice you don't have, certain things are going on with your physical self. And so, because that's such a tipping point in our lives,
Hmm.
for women the age of 50, then that is the time to get a handle on any little thing that needs tweaking. And so
Exactly.
that's how I came up with the 50. Now, it doesn't matter any age group. You can be 80 and have never done anything, and you can still improve the body.
Right.
But at 50 is when it really was when, if you really want to age well, you want to start there.
Yeah, absolutely. Elizabeth says, perfect group of women to reach. This is when the changes start and a great time to handle it. Absolutely. We certainly agree with that. So thank you, Elizabeth, for being here. Thank you, Sally, for being here also. We really do appreciate your support. We love this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
So tell me, at one point people say stop learning and start launching, which you did with us in the launch lab. Did you have any particular struggles that maybe you could talk about that, aside from COVID, COVID was a struggle in itself, but with the group that you learned to overcome or whatever.
Of course.
Talk
Of
about that.
course. There's a learning curve. There's a crazy learning curve. And
Yeah,
the biggest thing you have to do to get over it? Have courage.
absolutely.
And you guys were so awesome about that.
Mm.
Like, I remember I was so afraid because the way you guys did it, you were like, okay, choose a date and you're going to launch on this date you choose. And I'm thinking, I am going to be the last one on that list. There's no way I'm going to be number one. Well, then one of our friends in the group says, I'll be number one. I mean, he just did it. He just, and I'm like, oh no, oh no, no, no. What is he thinking?
It's going to be a woman.
I just thought Claude, it was, and I love him.
Yeah, yeah.
I just thought, what? Is he that brave? Then I've got to do it too. And
Right.
we had actually been in on one of our sessions together with Launch Lab, and we got paired. We've, been paired many times together, but, all of us, but we were
Mhm.
paired together. And then we said, let's just make a date to do this thing. And
Right.
he said right up front, I'm going to do September, whatever it was. I can't recall. And I thought, oh, God, is he really going to want to do it that fast? Because I'm thinking he'll say, well, let's go at the end,
Yeah, right,
But
right,
he
right.
just stuck right out there and said, let's do it. And so I said, okay, to myself. And now I think I did it a month later, but it doesn't matter. Claude gave me the courage. Okay, so now I'm still afraid, right? I'm still going, even though I said I'm going to do this thing. Now I'm scared, and I'm
Now
really
that you
glad.
have to do it.
Yeah, I have got to do it. Well, then Mike put out, one of the coaches put out, friends, this is not like, you're not on national TV, okay?
Right.
He didn't say it like that, but that's what he
Yeah,
was saying.
yeah.
You're not in front of a million people. It's just us. We
Mhm.
are your family. You're doing it for us. Everybody here is here to support you. So do not think twice about doing your presentation so you can get your feedback.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, if you put it like that, then the fear is just, that much. So that was the thing. First was the courage that came through you guys. Okay. So courage was a good one. And
Yeah.
then secondly, it's like, you got to create this course. I mean, that's what we're doing here,
Right.
right? We're teaching.
We were learning. Now it was time to launch. It was like, oh, but now we're talking about dates. Now we're talking about putting it on the calendar.
Yes. And so that means your course has to be finished, right?
Right.
And you have no idea. There's no it's all personal. That's the thing. It's not like you could say, ooh, so and so and so, she and I are doing the same thing, let's get together and talk it through. Then you kind of feel like you have a partner. You're doing you're on display, you right, whatever you do.
Absolutely.
And you have no idea how it's really going to be perceived. So when I say courage, that first day I did that present, it was a 3-day challenge. And that first day, my heart was pounding out of my chest. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? You have taught in front of so many people. You have done presentations, blah, blah, blah. At the same time, I was petrified because I knew that the team knew what I was supposed to know. Right? It's like, we know what you learned.
Yeah, exactly.
And are you going to apply it or not?
I know.
So, but then, just like the group is so, Launch Lab participants and the team are so wonderful that just like this, people were putting, oh, good job, or oh, I never thought of that, or oh, what,
Right.
I love that idea. And you're thinking, oh, well, okay, maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe I'm actually, maybe this is a good presentation. And you really, really felt so good, so that even the first 15 minutes, everybody jumped on and supported you. So then you were more at peace with just doing the presentation and getting the positive feedback. Now, when I say positive, I mean, there were things to do. Like nobody said, oh, perfect, put it online right now. You're it, But whatever, and all the coaches gave feedback and all
Mhm.
the participants. So it was really lovely to have people say, hey, I think you should add a link here. Or, you talk too fast there, kind of like I'm doing now. I talk
Don't
fast
think it-
anyway.
Yeah,
But,
I think it's wonderful. But
and so then you're thinking, okay, good feedback. And then you just take note every day. You just had your own notes. But Lucy, that helped so much. It was like a spoon feeding of
right.
exactly what to do every week. And you guys made that part so easy, right? But then in the end, the biggest part is being exposed, of doing it. And then you guys even made that part easy. And
Well,
then the
thank
team, of
you.
course, jumped on. So it was really fantastic. So now I'm actually working on I forgot what it's called. Maybe you can remind me. It's where you put your offer, your irresistible offer.
Your stack
Thank
stack
you,
offer.
offer stack. So I'm
Love
working on that, and that has been such a challenge. I reached out to a couple of the members, I think 3 of us on the team, and I'm like, hey, not the leaders, just each other helping. Hey, can you help me? People send me theirs. I'm looking at Mike, of course, at a great training and
Mhm.
talk through the whole thing. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the examples he's giving. I'm looking at the examples from my teammates here. And still, it's like for some reason, this thing is not sinking in. Just
Well,
like,
this is what the next launch lab is for, right? I mean, this is the next step that you are going to learn. So, was it a no-brainer for you to just go on to the next session for with us? That
launch
we're
lab?
actually, yeah, that we actually
No
starting
brainer.
tomorrow. Yeah,
No brainer. No
no-brainer.
brainer. So we finished out, our time together, and it's like we had a celebration of everybody who launched and what we had to, we were all having fun
Mhm.
together that day. And then it's like, okay, well, here's the new offer. And I don't know, I'm sure the whole team was thinking the same thing I was. It's like, you don't have to tell us what the offer is. We're in. Let's just get it going.
Yes,
Let's just do
and
it.
people think it's so easy, but it isn't.
No.
I mean, here we've been together for weeks, and the steps have been small steps, and I just want to mention what Elizabeth is saying here, and she's saying, "You, my friend." Elizabeth is one of the colleagues. She's also been a part of the launch lab, and she's saying, "You, my friend, you, Victoria, are one of the biggest supporters of us all." All
Oh,
right.
both of us.
Both of us, right. And then we have Debbie who joined us. So welcome, Deb. It says, what a beautiful testimonial of Lucy's supporting group. Absolutely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then she reacted to you saying nerves, that you had the nerves. And she says, nerves mean we care. Because if we didn't, then, we wouldn't be here.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's
So
right.
it's
That is
amazing.
lovely.
So, so tell me, what's next for you? I mean, obviously, I know that the next launch is starting tomorrow, and you're looking forward to your offer. Having your offer stack and getting that going. Is there anything else happening for you at this time that you want to talk about and that you want to share with us?
I'm just so excited about tomorrow. We'll start there. I'm really excited about that. We've all, most of us, I know all of us actually, have been waiting because it's like
Hmm.
it's been a nice. I will say this for people who do it with us. It's like it was a nice little break because we work so hard.
We did,
Right? We
absolutely.
all work so hard, and it's like, oh, it was kind of nice to know, okay, now I can just take everything I know and fine tune it and work on it some more while I'm waiting for the next classes to begin.
Exactly.
But for me, in my Facebook group, which is Aging Well Through Living a Healthy Lifestyle, I love my group. I have so much fun in there. I love posting. I just post a couple of times a week. I don't want it to be overwhelming to people or, like, especially with people who are trying to start out in fitness. But the group is for all different levels. So a lot of people are really into it like me, and then they'll just comment on other people and help them,
Right.
like we do in our launch lab, right?
Right. Right.
And so what I just did is I realized so many of the women in the group, when they join, they answer three questions. You know how most Facebook groups
Right.
have questions, and one of them is, where are you in this, or what do you need help with? And about half say motivation,
Wow.
half, a lot. And so I thought I'm going to have to do a series on motivation.
Right.
So I just started that. Of course, the first of the year is the best time because that's when people are really thinking about, oh, I want to lose weight or I want this year,
Exactly.
even though you and I both know it doesn't matter what time of year you decide this is the
Exactly.
days, whenever you decide. So anyway, I just started doing that motivation series, and I am really having a good time doing it. It will take a while. It'll probably take the entire month of January. I haven't mapped every piece out yet,
Hmm.
but I'm thinking what I'm going to do is, since I realize how many people need it, I'll probably take all that and make that a mini course within
Wonderful.
in my group, just because there's always going to be people who join who's going to want to see it, and so I'm going to have to
Absolutely. Oh,
create something where they can see it.
that is so exciting. So, I know you mentioned your Facebook group, and here we have the way that people would contact you would be through your email. It says contact Victoria McRay by email, vmcray@gmail.com. But you're also mentioning your Facebook group and the motivational series that you are thinking that you have started to do. So what I'd like to do is after the interview, if you would send me that information, your Facebook group, so that I can post it so that people can also join your group that way. All right. And we'll go from there. Now, I know that you said you had an important gift to share with my audience, and you have a reason for sharing this gift. So let's talk a little bit about that, and
So there's
and then
two
tell
questions.
people how they can get the gift.
So there's
Go
two
ahead.
questions that I get asked the most. And one is about motivation,
Hmm.
and the other is about water. I get
Interesting.
so drinking,
Drinking water.
drinking
Interesting.
water. So
Wow.
many people say, I hate to drink water. Don't make me drink water.
Then
Another
go
one of
drink some
those.
water.
Exactly. Go for your water. So what I did, when I started seeing, when I start seeing a lot of stuff like that,
Right.
that so a lot of the same topic, then I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have to do something around this so people can know. So what I did was I created just a PDF, a document that I started collecting just tips and tricks on how to drink more water,
Right.
and I just did that so that hopefully people can read it and something in there will spur them to go yes. So let me before I finish that, let me just say that for people to know, the old school mindset was drink 8 ounces, 8 glasses of water a day, and in reality, we all have different bodies. We don't all weigh 200 pounds. We don't all weigh 150. We don't all weigh 125. So the amount of water we drink depends on our size.
Okay.
So you should drink half your body weight in ounces of water a day. So if you weigh 150,
Thank you for
then you
doing
would
this.
drink, 75 ounces of water.
Oh, wow.
So that's one tip I'll just say up front for anybody, even if you don't, need to know how much to drink or, how do I drink it? Please help me drink water because I can't stand to do it. But yeah, so I created a PDF document that we can share with anyone who's interested.
Wonderful. So, in order to get this document, they can go to wherever my profile, my Facebook group, and we'll have your Facebook group, and they can put in water, just in the comment, and then you'll know to send them the PDF file. Is that correct?
That'd be lovely. That would be absolutely lovely.
Okay, I just want to share a couple of comments here. We have Sophia Charlotte who's saying, nice interview. Sophia Charlotte Roundtree, thank you so very much. And then we have a wonderful uh, comment from Magdine Setzler, who says, Victoria, you are beautiful. You are indeed beautiful. I love what you do. I want to look and feel young. And then there's a little note to me. Thank you, Magdi. Lucy, you are really good at this. Thank you. I love doing this. I love people's stories. I love to interview people. And we have a further um, reaction, a comment from our dear Elizabeth. What an excellent gift and a lot of knowledge. The water tip is perfect. Well, we forget and we don't know. And so it's so important that you point this out to us because not everybody needs to drink eight glasses a day.
It may be less, it may be more, but you're exactly right, Lucy. The medical field and the
Yeah,
health field constantly changes. You know that. It used to be
absolutely.
like, don't eat, this, and now it's like, oh, you better eat that. And you're like, well, I don't even know what to eat anymore. But that's why I'm constantly reading and researching so that at least I can try to stay up to date with exactly what they want us to do today.
Okay, well, great. Thank you, Victoria. It's been a pleasure having you here with me. It's been delightful. And again, if you want to contact Victoria by email, BM from Victoria McRay, okay, at gmail.com. And we will be posting in the comments the Facebook group so that you can join the Victoria's Facebook group. And also, if you're interested in getting the free gift, in the comments, you can put in water and the free gift will be sent to you, the PDF file. So, Victoria, any final advice that you would give to somebody who wants to start an online business, doesn't know, how to do it, where to go, or who to trust?
Imagine what I might say to that.
I don't know.
Friends, the Launch Lab is fantastic. It really is. It's a great place to start. It's not easy. It's not like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, I must go on there today and I'll have this thing ready tomorrow. No, but it is challenging in the most beautiful of ways. And it's just wonderful to see the growth within yourself, but also within others. And if Lucy were not here right now doing this interview with me, the truth is, I found it all through Lucy. So if I wasn't here, it's because I didn't find Lucy. But now you have found Lucy. So definitely, if you're interested in this, join the Launch Lab. We're all there to support each other. We'd be happy to support you.
It sounds like a good podcast. I found Lucy. Okay, great. So the Elizabeth has a last comment. The Launch Lab rocks. Here we go. Thank you so very much. We're starting our Launch Lab 2.0 tomorrow. We're looking forward to working with all of you, especially you, Victoria, Elizabeth. Thank you for being here, and and I can't thank you enough for your time because I know how busy we are. And I certainly want to thank also the audience for being here. And tune in next week for the next very interesting, empowering interview. And we'll see you then. Bye for now.
Thank you, Lucy.
You're
Bye,
welcome.
everyone.